Hello, in this video I would like to talk about the free will, and I'm going to give you my opinion if I believe that the free will exists and we have free will, or I believe that the free will is just an illusion and we don't have any free will. I am not a scientist and all of this is my opinion. I may be wrong, I do not know, but I think that the answer to this question is very simple. And it goes like this. If consciousness is generated by the brain, then we don't have any free will. And if consciousness is more than the brain, then we have a lot of free will. So, yeah. I am open-minded to the possibility that the consciousness may be generated by the brain and we still have free will, or that consciousness may be more and we don't have free will anyway. But I would say that this may probably be the case, that it depends what the consciousness is. You know? In my opinion, this is just an assumption, but if consciousness is just product of the brain, it means that universe is just random material, it's not spiritual, there is no God, and so on. So yeah, basically, if the universe is random material, then consciousness is just the brain and that's it. And if universe is spiritual, either there is some kind of greater consciousness or some God or something, then we probably are more than the brain and so on. So yeah, I am not telling you which one I believe to be the case. I don't know. I am maybe 50-50, maybe 51 to 49, but yeah. But let me give you my opinion why I would think that if the universe is just material, random, that there isn't any free will. So, if universe is random, it means that there is no God, it means that there is no consciousness, it means that there is nothing that could have, somehow influence how the universe is going to start and so on. Everything was just materia, everything was just random and so on. And imagine that since the Big Bang, and it doesn't matter whether the Big Bang was the start or there was something before the Big Bang, but imagine that since the Big Bang, not a single atom could have moved on its own. Not a single atom, not a single electron, not a single photon, anything. Because there is no consciousness that could have decided that right now I will go to the left or right now I will go to the right. At least this is the case until the life started. Imagine that you had some kind of Big Bang and you had formation of the stars, formation of the galaxies, of the planets, and not a single atom could have decided that I am not going to, bond with the other atom or something, And there is this quantum physics, and there are these superpositions and so on. I do not want to pretend that I understand this physics and so on, but I understand that if universe is material and random, even these quantum processes are random. Because if they wouldn't be random, there would be some consciousness, some intelligence, something behind it. But in the pure materialism, there just isn't, So, until our sun was formated, our earth was formated, not a single atom could have decided that it's going to do something on its own, Now, when it comes to first life, it may be a little bit tricky, because we don't fully understand how life started. Maybe we don't at all understand how life started. We were unable to replicate it. But if life was just a bunch of chemicals, bonding to each other and so on, how are you going to get a free will? Which atom is going to be in charge? Which molecule is suddenly going to be in charge? It's just, there may be some kind of emergency property, but I don't see it, and many scientists, they don't see it, And maybe the free will didn't start with the single cell life organisms, but with the complex brain. But I would think if there would be free will even in the material universe, I would guess that the free will didn't start it with the brain, but it started with the single cell life organisms. Because, I can't imagine that these single cell life organisms, they don't have free will, then you have complex life, they don't have free will, and suddenly you have some kind of brain and boom, you have free will. Which neuron, which molecule is going to right now be in charge? So yeah, as I said, I am open-minded to the possibility that there may be still some free will even in a materialistic universe, but I would guess that probably there isn't, And if the consciousness is more than the brain, then, reality is probably way, 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 way deeper than this materialistic universe. We may not be even able to comprehend it like 1% of this existence. And in that case, if consciousness is more than the brain, maybe if consciousness is fundamental, then there is no reason to don't have free will. Unless there is some kind of God and we are just the puppets of the God and we are more than the brain, but we still don't have free will because of this God and us being puppets. But I would say that if consciousness is more, if maybe consciousness is fundamental to the reality, then we have free will. We may not have free will over everything because we are still in the bodies, there is still biology, there are still things in my body that I cannot control. So not every single thing may be part of the free will, but at least I believe we would have some kind of free will. So yeah. And this free will is one of the biggest reasons for me why I consider consciousness to be more. Because this may not be the case, but I strongly believe that free will can only exist if consciousness is more. I strongly believe that consciousness, if it's product of the brain, then we don't have free will. So this and precognitive dreams are my biggest reason why I would slightly more believe that consciousness is more, but I don't know. So yeah, at least right now, if you agree with me, you know that if you are going to see a YouTube video or some book or anything, and someone is going to tell you that you don't have free will, they are in the same sentence telling you that you are just the brain, that you are just a biological machine, and that the universe is just materialistic and nothing more. Which may be the case, of course. Science has no evidence that the universe is more, but at least you know that when someone is telling you you don't have free will, they are at the same time telling you that you are just the brain, you are just a biological machine, and so on. And frankly, I don't think that this is that obvious yet. We don't know how consciousness emerged. We don't know how universe started, like we know the Big Bang, but we don't know where did the energy come from, like from nothing. Was it eternal? Is it timeless? So I think that it's to claim that we don't have free will, it's a premature claim. But yeah, this was just my opinion. You may agree, you may not agree. I don't know. This is just my opinion. I don't know the reality of this. But yeah, thank you. Goodbye.